No one saw Jim Henson's death coming. He was only 53 years old when he died in 1990 and still going strong creatively. Here's what we know about the last days of this extraordinary creator and the legacy he left behind. Jim Henson was an absolute master of his art, a brilliant puppeteer with the ability to create worlds beyond audiences' imaginations. This was a man who brought us legendary programs like The Muppet Show, Sesame Street, and Fraggle Rock, and the mystical worlds of Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal. Henson's creativity seemed absolutely boundless. There seemed to be no limit to what he could accomplish.
That's Dr. Teeth, huh? How are you, Doctor?
I'm good. Oh, yeah.
Good to see you.
But to the people who knew him best, Henson was so much more. His old friend and collaborator Frank Oz, who delivered Henson's eulogy in London, said, "Many people see Jim as an extraordinary creator. They realize that I see Jim first as an appreciator. He appreciated so much. He appreciated his family and his colleagues and his Muppet family, and he appreciated the performances and design of a puppet. He appreciated the art objects that he might buy. He appreciated just beauty." Henson's movies and TV shows entertained children and adults alike, and his legacy continues to this day, more than 30 years after his death. For millions, Henson's death came as a complete and utter shock. No one had any reason to believe that Jim Henson would not go on creating ingenious works for many more years. What stunned people most was the reason for Jim Henson's death. He hadn't been suffering from a prolonged terminal illness. What killed him was bacterial pneumonia. It's hard for most people to imagine pneumonia being a death sentence for someone still relatively young. Pneumonia is generally considered dangerous for children and the elderly. But Henson had contracted a rare virulent form of bacterial pneumonia, Group A streptococcus, and he delayed seeking treatment. Initially, it seemed that Henson was simply dealing with a bad cold or strep throat, reportedly telling his daughter Cheryl, "I'm just tired." Soon, it was apparent that Henson wasn't getting any better, only worse. By all appearances, the pneumonia in his system looked like the flu. It wasn't until he began coughing up blood that he was rushed to a New York hospital. It was too late by then. His organs had started to shut down and his body would not respond to antibiotics. He was admitted to the hospital on a Tuesday night and died at 1:21 a.m. on Wednesday, May 16, 1990. Bacterial pneumonia had completely destroyed his lungs within a matter of days. According to the Orlando Sentinel, Dr. David M. Gelmont, hospital director of medical intensive care, seemed convinced that Henson, who reportedly suffered 2 cardiac arrests before his death, could have been saved had he arrived just a day or 2 earlier. He said in an interview, "If he would have come on Sunday, we probably could have saved him. If he had come on Monday, we probably could have saved him. If he had come in around midnight Monday, I don't know, maybe." 5 days after his death, Jim Henson's funeral was held at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City, with a second service at St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Although his passing was so unexpected, Henson had outlined his funeral wishes 4 years prior. In accordance with Henson's wishes, no one was to wear black, and he wanted a jazz band to play. The service began with the theme to Sesame Street. Funeral goers were given Muppet butterflies on sticks to wave during the musical performances, and Henson's greatest creations, the Muppets themselves, had an enormous role in his memorial service. Carol Spinney, a Sesame Street's Big Bird, paid tribute to his longtime friend and collaborator with a heart-rendering solo performance of Being Green, a song made famous by Kermit the Frog, who had been performed by Henson himself.
Thank you, Kermit.
There was a musical number by the Muppet Chickens singing Babyface. Fozzie Bear had several musical performances, and even Little Elmo of Sesame Street sang Lydia the Tattooed Lady. Henson's song Rainbow Connection was played. The service ended with When the Saints Go Marching In, played by the Dirty Dozen Brass Band. The funeral was exactly what Henson had wanted, joyful and uplifting, but anyone watching couldn't help but feel a touch of heartbreak.